Over 60? 4 vitamins you should never take, and 4 you must take every day. It's highly probable that if you're watching this, you have a bottle of multivitamins somewhere in your home, perhaps on the kitchen counter or tucked away in a cabinet. And if you're over the age of 60, it's very likely that you've been advised by health professionals, friends, or even advertisements that taking these vitamins daily is a smart decision for your well-being. You might be thinking about supplements for your bones, your heart, or energy levels, and it all sounds very sensible and proactive. However, there's a crucial understanding that often goes against what has been commonly advised for decades. Some of the very vitamins you might be taking faithfully, believing they are protecting you, could actually be having the opposite effect, subtly and gradually contributing to poorer health. This isn't about extreme theories or discarding all supplements in favor of niche diets. The reality is that the body's needs and how it processes nutrients change significantly after the age of 60. The liver's filtering capabilities diminish, kidneys are less efficient at removing excess nutrients, and the digestive system absorbs substances differently. More importantly, the body's requirements are not the same as they were when you were younger. When you continue with the same supplement regimen from years ago, or follow general advice not tailored for older adults, things can accumulate in unintended ways. What was meant to be helpful can slowly start to cause damage, often in ways that are not immediately linked to the supplements themselves. This is particularly concerning because many of the symptoms that arise, such as fatigue, joint pain, mental fogginess, and dizziness, are often mistakenly attributed to the natural process of aging. Instead of questioning the cause, people, and sometimes even healthcare providers, accept these symptoms as a normal part of getting older. However, this is not always the case. Sometimes these issues stem from toxicity or an excess of certain nutrients that the aging body can no longer handle effectively. In this discussion, we will explore 4 specific vitamins that, after the age of 60, can become genuinely hazardous if not approached with caution. We will then highlight 4 essential vitamins and minerals that are strongly supported by evidence and can significantly contribute to protecting your brain, strengthening your muscles, supporting your heart health, and even potentially extending your lifespan. This information is not based on personal opinion, but on peer-reviewed research and extensive clinical observation, aiming to provide a clear understanding of what's happening within your body. Let's begin with a vitamin that may be surprising given its long-standing promotion for seniors: vitamin A, specifically in its retinol form. Many people believe vitamin A is universally beneficial for vision and immunity, and indeed it is an essential nutrient found in nearly all multivitamins. However, the problem lies with the form most supplements use, known as retinol. As we age, our bodies process this fat-soluble vitamin, which is stored in the liver and fatty tissues, very differently. Unlike water-soluble vitamins that are easily flushed out, retinol can accumulate over months and even years. While a younger body with a highly efficient liver can generally manage this storage, an aging liver processes things less effectively. Furthermore, changes in fat distribution and metabolism mean that daily intake doesn't just get used and eliminated, it builds up. When this accumulation surpasses a certain threshold, it becomes toxic. The initial signs of this toxicity can be subtle and easily mistaken for signs of aging, such as dry skin, brittle hair, dizziness, aching joints, constant fatigue, and even blurred vision, which is ironic given the reason for taking it. The more concerning consequences, however, involve the cardiovascular system. Research has indicated a significant link between elevated vitamin A levels and an increased risk of atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat that dramatically raises the likelihood of stroke, especially in individuals over 65. This means a supplement taken for perceived benefit could inadvertently increase the risk of a devastating health event. For retinol and its synthetic counterpart, retinyl palmitate, exceeding 700 micrograms daily for women or 900 for men in a multivitamin places you in a potentially dangerous range, a limit often surpassed by senior-focused supplements without clear warnings. The good news is that vitamin A is still vital, and the solution is to obtain it in its natural, safe form, beta-carotene. Found abundantly in foods like sweet potatoes, carrots, spinach, and squash, beta-carotene is converted by the body into vitamin A only as needed, offering a self-regulating and overdose-proof source. Therefore, if your multivitamin contains preformed vitamin A in the retinol or retinyl palmitate form, consider switching to a formula without it, or, even better, focus on increasing your intake of orange and dark green vegetables. True health after 60 often comes from taking the right nutrients in the right forms and doses, not simply taking more pills. Next, we examine iron supplements, a nutrient often associated with energy and strength, but one that requires careful consideration after the age of 60. While iron is crucial for many bodily functions and can be life-saving for those with diagnosed deficiencies, excess iron in older adults, unless medically necessary, does not provide energy. Instead, it can accumulate in organs and lead to toxicity. Unlike many other nutrients, the body lacks an efficient pathway to eliminate excess iron. It is primarily stored in the liver, heart, and pancreas. For younger individuals, especially menstruating women, regular iron loss through blood is common, making supplementation sometimes beneficial. However, after menopause, this natural drain ceases. When iron intake continues at levels appropriate for younger individuals, it accumulates, leading to oxidative stress. This process is akin to rust forming within the body, damaging cells, accelerating tissue aging, and increasing the risk of serious diseases. Studies have directly linked elevated iron levels in the brain to higher rates of dementia, and research has also connected it to heart disease, liver damage, and even certain types of cancer. The insidious nature of iron overload is that its symptoms are often vague and easily mistaken for the effects of aging. Fatigue, joint pain, difficulty concentrating, and occasional heart palpitations are commonly dismissed as normal age-related changes, preventing individuals from recognizing the underlying cause. This allows the iron supplement meant to boost energy to quietly build up in vital organs. Many popular senior multivitamins still contain iron even, though the majority of older adults do not need it. Consuming iron-rich foods on top of this can further exacerbate the issue. Therefore, it's crucial to check supplement labels. If your multivitamin contains iron and you haven't been diagnosed with iron deficiency anemia, switch to an iron-free formula. Furthermore, it's advisable to ask your doctor for tests like a serum ferritin or transferrin saturation test to accurately assess your iron levels. If they are normal or high, discontinue supplementation. Relying on a balanced diet that includes lean meats, beans, and leafy greens will provide sufficient iron without the risks associated with supplementation. After 60, true energy stems from protecting your organs, reducing inflammation, and providing your body with precisely what it needs, rather than following generalized marketing advice. Calcium supplements, particularly when taken in isolation, are another area that can be surprisingly detrimental for seniors. For years, the message has been consistent. For strong bones, calcium is essential and non-negotiable. This logic that calcium builds bones and seniors lose bone density, thus requiring more calcium, seems straightforward. However, the reality is more complex. After 60, the body's ability to effectively utilize calcium changes. Without the necessary cofactors and hormonal signaling that guide calcium to the bones, excess calcium from supplements can be deposited in other areas. This includes arteries, leading to calcification and an increased risk of heart attack and stroke, as well as joints, contributing to stiffness and pain. It can also lead to calcification in soft tissues, which is difficult for the body to reverse. Research has shown that individuals taking calcium supplements have a higher risk of heart disease compared to those who obtain their calcium from food sources. This presents a paradox. Taking calcium to protect bones may inadvertently weaken the heart. The effectiveness of calcium for bone health is also compromised when taken alone. It requires vitamin D3 for absorption into the bloodstream and vitamin K2 to direct it specifically to the bones and away from arteries. Magnesium also plays a vital role in balancing the body's use of calcium. Without these supporting nutrients, calcium from a standalone supplement lacks direction and can deposit in undesirable locations. Early signs of calcium overload, such as bloating, constipation, joint aches, fatigue, and brain fog, are often overlooked. Over time, this can progress to arterial calcification, an increased risk of stroke, recurrent kidney stones, and, ironically, bones that remain weak. The recommended approach is to prioritize calcium-rich foods like leafy greens, sardines, yogurt, almonds, and chia seeds, which provide calcium in a naturally absorbable form. If supplementation is necessary, it should always be combined with D3, K2, and magnesium to ensure proper utilization. Additionally, weight-bearing exercises are equally, if not more, crucial for bone strength than calcium intake alone. It is important to assess total calcium intake from both diet and supplements to avoid exceeding recommended levels, as excessive calcium can lead to arterial hardening and an increased risk of cardiovascular events. True bone health after 60 is achieved through balance, whole food sources, appropriate nutrient combinations, and consistent physical activity, rather than simply increasing pill intake. Finally, let's address high-dose vitamin B6, which is perhaps the most counterintuitive and surprising risk for seniors. While B vitamins, including B6, are generally considered water-soluble and easily excreted, B6 behaves differently at high doses. It can accumulate in nerve tissue, leading to neurotoxicity over time, essentially poisoning the very nerves it's meant to support. Older adults are particularly susceptible due to slower toxin clearance by the liver and the naturally more fragile state of aging nerves. Studies have shown that individuals taking high doses of vitamin B6 have a significantly increased risk of developing nerve damage symptoms. The insidious aspect is that these symptoms, such as tingling in the extremities, numbness, burning sensations, poor balance, frequent falls, muscle weakness, fatigue, and brain fog, closely mimic those commonly associated with aging. This similarity prevents people from connecting these issues to their vitamin intake. Even within recommended guidelines, research indicates that doses as low as 50 milligrams daily, taken over extended periods, can cause toxicity in older adults. Many supplements marketed for nerve support, energy, or senior multivitamins can contain amounts that far exceed the daily recommended intake, potentially leading to unintentional overdose when combined with other sources. Unlike a deficiency, which is often easily rectified, nerve damage caused by excessive B6 can take months or even years to recover from, and in some instances the damage may be permanent. The safest approach is to obtain vitamin B6 from food sources such as chickpeas, tuna, turkey, bananas, potatoes, and fortified cereals, which provide adequate amounts without the risk of overload. Seniors typically require only about 1.5 to 1.7 milligrams daily. If you are taking supplements containing vitamin B6, it is advisable to switch to formulations with much lower doses, ideally between 5 and 10 milligrams per serving or less. If you have concerns, consult your doctor about a B6 blood test, as the principle of more is better does not apply to vitamin B6 and can indeed be dangerous. Having identified 4 vitamins that can pose risks after age 60, retinol form of vitamin A, unnecessary iron, calcium taken alone, and high-dose vitamin B6, it's understandable to feel concerned about supplement safety. However, avoiding harm is only part of the equation. The other crucial aspect is actively nourishing your body what it truly needs. Certain vitamins and minerals offer significant benefits, not just minor improvements, but can genuinely restore strength, protect your cardiovascular system, enhance cognitive function, and potentially increase longevity. The following 4 are supported by robust research in senior health, with one even linked to a notable reduction in all-cause mortality. Let's transition from what to avoid to what you should prioritize to remain robust, steady, and sharp well into your later years. First, consider magnesium, a mineral that many seniors are deficient in. Yet it plays a fundamental role in over 300 bodily functions. Symptoms of magnesium deficiency, such as sleep disturbances, night cramps, fatigue, restless legs, and irregular heartbeats, are frequently mistaken for the natural consequences of aging. Magnesium is essential for stable heart rhythms, proper muscle function, nerve and brain activity, blood sugar regulation, and bone health. However, aging reduces the body's ability to absorb magnesium from food, and many common medications, including those for blood pressure, reflux, and diuretics, can deplete magnesium levels faster than they can be replenished. This gradual decline, even with a healthy diet, can lead to serious health issues. Research has established a strong link between magnesium deficiency in older adults and an increased risk of atrial fibrillation, a dangerous irregular heartbeat associated with a higher stroke risk. It is also implicated in increased dementia risk, type 2 diabetes, and chronic inflammation, effectively accelerating the aging process throughout the body. Fortunately, when magnesium deficiency is corrected, improvements in sleep quality, a reduction in muscle cramps, enhanced focus, a steadier mood, and better balance can be observed. When choosing supplements, opt for more absorbable forms like magnesium glycinate, citrate, or malate, as cheaper forms like magnesium oxide are less effective and can cause digestive upset. Most seniors require approximately 250 to 400 milligrams daily, though dietary intake from sources like leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, avocados, and even dark chocolate can contribute. However, due to soil depletion, food alone may not be sufficient, making supplementation a potentially life-changing intervention. Magnesium may not be flashy, but addressing a deficiency can alleviate many age-related concerns, from cramps and poor sleep to brain fog. Next is vitamin D3, a critical nutrient often referred to as the body's master switch, influencing bone strength, immune defense, and brain function. After age 65, the skin's ability to produce vitamin D from sunlight diminishes by over 50%. Combined with indoor lifestyles, sunscreen use, or living in regions with less sunlight, deficiency becomes almost inevitable. Vitamin D3 acts like a hormone, impacting nearly every system in the body by regulating immunity, supporting cardiovascular health, reducing inflammation, and protecting brain cells, thereby lowering the risk of depression and cognitive decline. A large-scale study found that individuals taking vitamin D3 had a significantly lower risk of all-cause mortality. It's important to use the D3 form, which is more potent than D2, and ensure adequate dosage, typically 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily for most seniors, though blood testing is the most accurate way to determine optimal levels. Vitamin D3 works synergistically with vitamin K2 and magnesium. D3 helps absorb calcium, K2 directs it to the bones and away from arteries, and magnesium activates the process. While some foods contain vitamin D, supplementation is usually necessary to reach sufficient levels, and its benefits extend beyond bone health to improved immunity, mood stability, muscle strength, and fewer fractures. Consider vitamin K2, which, unlike K1 that primarily aids in blood clotting, plays a vital role in directing calcium. It ensures calcium is deposited into bones and kept out of settle arteries, where it can contribute to hardening. Without K2, calcium can calcify arteries, even when vitamin D and calcium are present, whereas with K2, the risk of heart disease decreases substantially. The Rotterdam study, for instance, showed a significant reduction in heart disease mortality and stronger bones among those with adequate K2 intake. There are two main forms, MK4, found in animal products, and MK7, derived from fermented foods, with MK7 being more effective in supplements due to its longer duration of action. Most seniors require about 100 to 200 micrograms daily. When taken alongside D3 and magnesium, vitamin K2 is instrumental in protecting both bones and arteries. Finally, we arrive at omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, which may be the most valuable supplement for individuals over 60, supporting nearly every aging system. These fatty acids are crucial for memory enhancement, reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease, lowering inflammation, stabilizing heart rhythm, decreasing the risk of heart attack and stroke, alleviating joint pain, improving mood, and preserving muscle strength and mobility. It is important to obtain these omega-3s from marine sources like fatty fish, fish oil, or algae, as plant-based omega-3s are poorly converted by the aging body. Most seniors benefit from around 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams daily. When choosing fish oil supplements, opt for purified products and consult with a healthcare provider if you are taking blood-thinning medications. In summary, prioritize avoiding the retinol form of vitamin A, unnecessary iron supplementation, calcium taken without supporting nutrients, and high-dose vitamin B6. Instead, focus on incorporating magnesium, vitamin D3, vitamin K2, and omega-3 fatty acids into your regimen. The key to aging well lies not in consuming more supplements, but in making the right choices about which ones to take, ensuring they are the appropriate nutrients in the correct forms and dosages to support your body's needs.